But what we do have is very thin neuronal pathways when you just start something new. If you want to be expert at something, you want to be an expert dancer, expert singer, what do?
Do it.
And practice. You just practice, practice, practice. And yet, how much of your time do you use to practice? Most of us don't, you see. Why I am where I am is because I'm like an Olympic runner. You know, the average person might take a walk around the block or jog a little bit or do something, but this is my life. And so I practice all the time. And I'm practicing with you right now to be in love with you and to just nurture you and support you as best as I can. I want everybody to do this for a moment. Put your hands together and just look down and see if your right thumb is on top or if your left thumb is on top. It's a wonderful little experiment that I devised about 30 years ago. And we could take a little survey first. Everybody with their right thumb on top, raise your hand. Look around the room. Look around the room. And everybody who has their left thumb on top, raise your hand. Look around the room. This never ceases to amaze me. I have done this for 30 years, and there's always more left thumbers than right thumbers. I haven't got the foggiest idea why. They don't give any research for left thumb, right thumb research, you know, or anything like that. And we think maybe it's left brain development, right brain development. We don't know. It has nothing to do with whether you're left-handed or right-handed. But the main part of this is put your hands back together again, and now switch the whole hand. So if the left thumb was on top, the right thumb is, and vice versa. All the fingers. How does that feel? Horrible. Yeah. Yeah, strange. Everybody take a nice deep breath, really. And let me tell you what you just did. The way you did it the first time is the way you've always done it. It's the way you've always done it, ever since you were a little child. When you switched over, you actually switched over what's called a neuronal pathway. The neurons, you can see them with electron microscope, they hook up and they actually form like something that's brand new that you've not done maybe but once or twice. It's the barest, you can hardly see it with the electron microscope. Now, keep on doing that, and all of a sudden, it's like a telephone cable. It grows thicker and thicker and thicker. What's your name? How do you know that so quickly? Yeah. Because you recently gave yourself that name. Okay? So let me just find out. What's your name? Okay, Ron, how long have you been using that name? Okay, so Ron, Ronnie, Dolphin, new names that you've created, but you knew it fairly quickly. What's the square root of 17? Okay, neither do I, by the way. But what it is if you work with square roots, you'd know that. If you work with numbers that way, you'd know it in an instant. But we know our name because there's a huge neuronal pathway in there. Every time we do something more than once, it builds, builds, builds. Now, we don't put any judgment on that, if it's a good habit or a bad habit. These are habituated action grooves. And when I asked you to take a deep breath, what it was is you were taking oxygen in to burn off the adrenaline. Because when you switched over, your body gave you a shot of adrenaline, and it was like, whoops, I'm not programmed for this. Not programmed for this. So it felt weird, and your body gave you the shot of adrenaline for fight or flight. And then we take that shot of adrenaline, and this is the cause of most other addictions. For those that are in recovery, listen closely. Adrenaline emotional addiction, we are now discovering, is the #1 addiction. It's the thing we have not learned to handle, so we take drugs, we take food, we take sex, we take everything else to ameliorate that adrenaline that we don't know how to handle. So when adrenaline happens, our hearts beat faster, our guts churn, you know, they twist, our face flushes up, all of that stuff, because that's the effect of adrenaline. And adrenaline is killing us. It's absolutely killing us because we don't know how to handle it. 85% of the murders are crimes of passion in our society. And 85% of those are people who know each other. These are people who know each other. And it's usually jealousy. It's usually something that you made me angry, you know. And so because you make me angry, I can kill you. Where do we learn that? We learn that in television and in the movies. And that's the garbage that happens.